Hey guys, Zelda here, and welcome back to 999. Last episode, we went through door 1, and we went to the captain's cabin, I guess you could say, the captain's cabin. And we talked to Clover about her brother and the death of her brother, and we kind of came to the conclusion that it could only be Santa or Seven, or Santa and Seven, that did it. Otherwise, it would be 4 people. And that makes no sense because then they have the upper hand, and why wouldn't they just kill the rest that aren't like part of the whole scheme, you know? So that's kind of what we did. I kind of dropped a hint that maybe there's another bracelet that someone could have that would also, with the help of another number and the number 2, make number 3. Oh, this song was like the best song in the game, by the way. Does anybody else think that sound effect sounds like an arrow? But anyway, let's continue with our puzzle here, because we ended up in the captain's quarters where there was a man on the floor with a bracelet number 0, but it's very obvious, very straightforward, very much like, hello, this is 0, you know? Which makes no sense. So, let's continue. A bed. There's nothing on it. There's nothing in it? Or on it, Clover? A bed, nothing suspicious here. Okay, we have a light. It's a lamp. But it doesn't turn on. I don't think there's anything special about it. There's something about this, though. Oh, it's one of those old music boxes. How about we wind it up? Why does it sound like that? Is it broken? The pins on the cylinder are shaped all weird. I don't even think those are pins. It looks like someone put something else on top of it. I think we're gonna have to take it apart to figure out what's going on, don't you? Probably. Well, we're not gonna find it here. There's blood on the chair. Do you think this was where that guy... Yeah, probably. The camera recorder. It looks like it's pointing at the door. Well, the power's on. Why would someone want to videotape a door? Also, how incredible is this battery that it can do that? That's amazing. Okay, well, that's a code. There's a plaque on the door, but it doesn't say anything. Well, that's curtains that I can't do. No. I want to check this. They look like batteries. There's a cable running from them to the monitor. There's a piece of paper in here with some letters on it. What's the deal with this? Is it some kind of code? There are 4 rows of numbers and letters. They all start with a 0 and end with an 8. F, N, or V. Oh god, this is gonna be base 10 again, isn't it? Respectively. Maybe this has something to do with the number bases? New material has been added to the file screen. Okay. There's a bunch of weird buttons on here. They probably switch at what you see on the screens. Do you know how to work this thing? Why don't we just press one of these? Like this one. Well, I guess it does change the... What the hell is this?
Huh.
Junpei snorted with grim humor for the second time since he'd come into the room. The 4 screens along the bottom had a single letter each, spelling out
Z-E-R-O, huh? It's like he's making fun of us. What do you think?
He turned to Clover, who was standing next to him. Clover nodded.
Nothing.
Well, she nodded, so she must think yes, that's true. It seemed that she cared about little. Of course, Junpei could hardly blame her. Given the strain she was surely under, Junpei was somewhat surprised she had responded at all. Still, he had to ask. He gestured towards the corpse.
What about him? Do you think that's really 0?
Clover shook her head weakly.
There's no way that's him. Didn't I tell you already? Zero is one of us.
Yeah, right. Well, even if he wasn't one of us, there's no way that man could be Zero.
Huh?
Don't you get it? The letters that spell Zero on the TV screen, the captain's clothes he's got on, and of course, the bracelet with a zero on it.
It's way too obvious, way too much pointing, like, this is Zero.
It's too obvious. Look, this is Zero right here. This dead body is Zero.
Exactly. It's too on the nose.
Isn't that kind of fishy?
You're right. Only an idiot wouldn't see through something like that.
No, that's not the point. So I'm not trying to make fun of them for thinking a trick like this would work. I'm sure they didn't think it would work, which makes me wonder. I think this is a challenge. A challenge from the person who's really behind all of this.
I'm sorry.
He's making fun of us.
I will finish his sentence, which makes me wonder, why did they do it? He didn't say the last part. So it's a challenge.
Don't you get it? If whoever killed this guy really wanted us to think this corpse was Zero, they'd never have put a bracelet on him. Walking around with a Zero bracelet would be like hanging a sign around your neck that said, "I did it!" Anyone with a brain would be able to see that this guy is supposed to look like everything Zero is supposed to be.
I did it!
Just like we did. The killer must have known we wouldn't think he was Zero and put the bracelet on him anyway. Do you know why?
Why?
Like I said, he's mocking us. Too bad, suckers, this isn't Zero. Where's the real me then? See if you can catch me. It's the same bad joke a lot of criminals like to play. They'll just sit back and watch people run in circles.
That's really twisted. But it almost seems kind of childish.
Yeah, you're right. It's really childish. It's like it's just a game to whoever this person is. That's what seems funny to me.
Junpei bent down next to the corpse.
Alright, let's get back to the point. Who killed this man?
I don't know.
And what's this guy's deal? Who is he?
How would I know that? If I knew anything, I would have told you.
You have no idea who he is.
I do, but
Why would I?
I'm not gonna tell you. You'll find out at the end of the game. Junpei sat back on his hunches and thought.
We should check and see if he's got anything on him that might tell us who he is. Give me a hand here, Clover.
Huh?
We gotta flip him over. How else are we gonna search his pockets?
Clover didn't move.
Okay, fine. Guess I'll do it.
Junpei had no choice but to move the body on his own.
Here we go.
He grabbed a hold of an area not completely covered in blood and shoved. It took a moment, but eventually Junpei felt the man's bulk begin to shift. But just as he did,
Huh?
something fell from the man's left wrist.
Hey, it's the
The bracelet with the zero on the face.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only two ways to do so. One, you escape from this ship. Two, Lord Hartley reaches Zero. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or the paraxatic Nary's heartbeat has fallen to zero, it will shut down automatically.
Alright, Daft Punk.
Oh god.
Junpei stared at the bracelet.
This man, he's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, we kind of, like, we kind of suspected that.
No, it's just, I guess I didn't really think about it until right now.
Huh. It didn't really sink in yet.
If his bracelet's off, that means he's dead.
Well, it's pretty obvious that he's dead. You don't really need to look at his bracelet to figure out that he's dead.
Junpei just can't believe that he's dead.
Yeah. I guess you're right. It is pretty obvious.
Some people need more
He
confirmation.
looks a lot better than the other bodies we've seen, though. You know?
Oh god, Junpei,
I mean,
no.
if there wasn't all this blood, he'd almost look like he was still alive. I mean, I know it's kind of a messed up thing to say, but he kinda has it better, you know? Dying from a bomb going off inside of you, I mean, that's just...
Oh god, Junpei, stop.
Some of Snake's bones went right through his skin. I think the explosion must have thrown him against a wall or something. There was a broken
Junpei.
bone just sticking out of his left arm. And,
Suddenly, Junpei realized what he was saying. How could he have been so cruel? He clapped his hand over his mouth. But it was already too late. He turned to look at Clover. She was glaring at him furiously.
What did you just say?
Her words sounded cold. He knew an apology would hardly atone for what he'd done, but he tried anyway.
oh man, I am so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I really don't know what I was thinking. I mean,
No, that's not what I'm talking about. What did you say about his arm?
arm?
Yes, his left arm. You said it, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I did, but I mean, didn't you see it too?
Of course not. I could barely look at him. There's no way I was gonna see the details.
Clover took a quick, deep breath.
Are you sure it was his left arm?
Yep. Junpei thought back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
And he had a broken bone, right?
What the hell are you getting at here?
Just shut up and answer me!
She shoved her face closer to his. He could see the fire in her eyes. Junpei winced and swallowed.
Yeah, he did. It was pretty bad, too. The bone was sticking out of the arm.
No sooner were the words out of his mouth than Clover's expression changed.
Clover? What's wrong? Look, I'm sorry if I said anything.
Suddenly she was crying. Junpei wasn't sure what to do.
Thank you.
It was close to the last thing he had expected to hear.
Huh? What are you...
Junpei had no idea what had just happened. He didn't think he'd done anything worthy of thanks, and he couldn't understand why she would have chosen that moment to begin crying. So he simply stood there, confused.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She thanked him again, and then something even stranger happened. Aww. She hugged him. Clover threw herself into Junpei's surprised arms.
Hey, what's going on with you?
I'm sorry, it's just... I'm so happy!
Why?
The body in the shower room, it isn't his!
Huh?
Sorry, oops, sorry.
It's not Snake!
Why on earth would you think that?
Because his left arm is...
She stopped
I'm
herself.
sorry. I really shouldn't be talking about this.
Junpei decided it would be prudent to not press her for any more information. If she did not wish to tell him, she certainly had a reason for doing so. Perhaps more importantly, however, if Clover was so certain, then she was likely right. That meant that the body in the shower room wasn't Snake. It wasn't much, but that knowledge lifted some of the weight from Junpei's heart.
But he's still alive. I'm so happy.
The tears shone in her eyes. Those tears melted Junpei's heart. As she cried, she had pushed herself up against his chest like a child. Junpei put his arms around her and held her tight.
I'm so glad.
Huh?
Junpei, you were right.
Huh?
No matter what happens, you can never lose hope. You have to remember what's most important, and that's to have faith and to have love. If you can remember all of those, that'll bring you good luck.
Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out.
That's...
It was the laminated bookmark with the 4-leaf clover.
I only made it here because you gave me this. I was suspicious of everybody, and I was angry and miserable. But because I had this 4-leaf clover, because of what you said to me...
Yeah.
Junpei hadn't thought his word would have such an effect on her. Her words were making him feel a little awkward.
Thank you so much, Junpei.
She looked up at him. He scratched his nose and pretended not to notice something interesting somewhere else in the room.
Oh, if you really want to thank somebody, you should be thanking Santa.
Santa? Why?
Well, he was the one who gave me that thing. And the words for each leaf, I got that from him too.
Oh.
Then suddenly, Clover broke away from Junpei.
Huh?
He looked confused. He hadn't thought she'd react that poorly. Clover began to pace across the room. What is it, girl? 6 steps to the left, 6 steps to the right, another 6 to the left, and then she stopped.
Did Santa really tell you those things?
Her eyes were serious, but not angry.
Yeah, he did. Did I say something wrong?
Oh no, not at all. In fact, this could be really good news, I think.
You think?
Santa knew about the words and the clover. The only people who should know about that are the other subjects.
Subjects?
The other people who were in the experiment 9 years ago, with my brother and me.
Oh, so Santa was also in the experiment. So was Snake and her.
But he's blind. And I was part of the Nevada test group.
Nevada?
So neither of us would be able to recognize the faces of the people who were on this boat.
Whoa. Okay, time out.
Junpei held up his hands. He took a deep breath and let it out.
Let's just calm down for a second, okay? Start from the top. Don't start with the end and then jump to the middle. You gotta start with 1 and then move to 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. If you don't tell me stuff in the right order, I'm never gonna be able to figure it out.
Okay.
Clover nodded.
All right, let's start with this experiment. What happened on this boat 9 years ago?
Do you know about morphogenetic fields?
Morphogenetic fields.
Yeah, Lotus talked about that. He did, and the realization sent chills down Junpei's spine.
All right, how about this? Theory of the telepathic mechanism.
I think Lotus mentioned something like that.
Junpei recounted what Lotus had told him earlier. Clover nodded.
Telepathy, huh? Well, that's not really it, but I suppose it's similar.
So they were testing telepathy on this ship?
Yeah, I guess so.
So, what exactly did they have you guys do?
The same thing that we're doing now. Exactly the same thing.
What?
The Nonary Game. 9 people were put on this boat, and 9 others were put in the building in Nevada, and the game started.
Junpei grabbed the sides of his head.
Look, I'm sorry, but I don't get it. What do the Nonary Game and some telepathy experiment have to do with each other?
Oh, come on, Junpei. Think.
Am I missing something here?
Yes. Clover bit her lip. She blinked back sudden tears. What had happened to her in Nevada?
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger. You know how sometimes when you're up against a really tough problem, and then the answer just kind of pops in your head?
Uh-huh.
That's an epiphany. And what you learn from the epiphany can be transmitted with telepathy. When you add danger to that equation, then it gets easier to transmit that information over telepathy.
So you're saying the Nonary Game was supposed to introduce that element of danger?
Yeah, but it couldn't be just any old danger. It had to be life and death. And someone did actually die. A girl.
Huh.
Junpei felt a sudden grip of despair on his heart. Something deep and distant and powerful squeezed, and then for a moment, he felt very, very empty and alone.
She was on the boat with my brother. I was in Nevada. I never met her, but I did hear her name. Her name was...
Here we go. Interrupted. Fucking hell, Ace. Jesus Christ. Why do you keep doing this? The sound of the door opening was like a gunshot. Junpei spun around.
Oh, my apologies. I seem to have disturbed you.
Ace.
You two must have strong stomachs. I can't imagine how you could stay in this room for so long.
Ace glanced down at the floor. At the corpse covered in blood.
At any rate, Junpei, would you be so kind as to come and help me with something?
As long as you're not groping me again.
I'm having a little trouble and I could really use your assistance.
Come
Come on, it'll only take a moment.
With that, he turned and walked back towards the communications office. See, now it's communications office and not communication office. Clover waited until he was out of sight, then spoke in a small, quiet voice.
I don't want Ace to hear us. We can talk about this later.
Huh? Hey, wait!
Clover ignored him. From outside, Junpei could hear Ace calling.
Junpei? What are you doing in there? Hurry up!
Grumbling to himself, Junpei stomped off towards the communications office. And that was it. So Snake is not dead. And something about an experiment where a girl died. Look, a hook. That wasn't a joke. I know, man. God, he's so like, ugh. A clock mounted on the wall. The hands aren't moving. A little surprised that the time is wrong then, I suppose. And there's nothing on the back. He's so like, you know, like embarrassed to make jokes now because we called him out on it. And I'm like, just make jokes, you know? It looks as though that drawer is the only thing that's locked. I don't see a key though. An electronic rock at an Jesus, my god. Stop. My dyslexic brain, what the fuck? An electric lock, perhaps. Take a look at the left side of the drawer. Yeah, there's some cables over there. That must mean... Hey, what's this? It's blank, there's nothing written on it. Suspicious. With a white piece of paper, it's blank. I feel like it's not, though. Headphones? There's a pair of headphones on the desk. An early telecommunications device. Most likely used to transmit a radio signal of some sort. It's such a bop, this song. I experimented with it earlier, but to no avail. I imagine it's broken. Okay, well, no. It's a telegraph key, a machine for transmitting Morse code. I tried sending an SOS earlier, but I doubt it did anything. Zero would never make it that easy. So you think it's broken? No, it works. I'm just not sure if it actually transmits anything outside of the ship. Well, I don't have anything for that right yet. Hey Ace, look! It's a model of a steam train. How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? It kinda does look like it, right? Hey Ace, look! It's a monkey with glasses! It does kinda look like a monkey. Like, these are his eyes, and then this is his mouth with little teeth right here. This is his nose. How on earth did you arrive at that? Same thing, okay. Ace, you have no imagination. Oh, what's this? Can we... A wooden case with something in... The grammar in this game sometimes. There's a wooden case with something in it on the table. Something on the table. Screwdriver. Oh, can we combine that with this thing? Alright, the screwdriver ought to make short work of this music box. Oh, can we... Do we have ink here somewhere, maybe? Ooh, let's do this. I guess I'll put an ink on the cylinder. And then we can do this. Now I just gotta roll the cylinder across a piece of paper. And if I'm right, the ink should... So, okay. We can't really... I don't know if we're gonna see it. It's an old telegraph machine. Nothing suspicious here. And no, I'll be honest, I have no idea how it works. Okay, so how about... Alright, I've got the Morse code I'm supposed to enter. If I do this right, something will happen. I hope. Alright, let's give this a shot. Oh, thank God, I don't have to write it down. Good, because I didn't really fancy that, so... Dot, 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 or dash, dot, 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 dash, 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 dot, dot. The last one, that's the last one, and yes! Excellent work, Junpei. Good job. You seem to have figured it out. You've unlocked the drawer. Good, finally. Ooh. Oh, it says all ice or Alice on the back, on the spine here. A red file in the drawer. Junpei reached down and picked it up.
Looks like there's something on the cover. ALLICE.
All ice.
All ice. Alice. Does this mean?
Junpei couldn't hold back. He had to know what was in that file. Hieroglyphs, though. Each page was covered with strange characters. Come on, Junpei. Oh wait, we're talking about Americans, so Americans probably don't get hieroglyphs in history class, right? Tell me if that's true, by the way. If you're an American person and you've had, you know, education in America, do you guys cover hieroglyphs in class, in history class? Because I know I did. I still can't read it, but like, it's interesting. They looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, wings, and even kneeling humans. There are many pages in the file, and each was full of these strange symbols.
What the hell is this?
He didn't realize he'd spoken out loud until Ace looked over at him.
They are hieroglyphs, a form of writing used in ancient Egypt.
Ancient Egypt?
That's right.
Can you read them?
Of course. I can't. What would make you think I could?
That would be interesting.
What the hell?
Junpei flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just 1 or 2 pages that were covered in the strange symbols. Each single page was covered in them.
Whoa, the whole thing's like that.
Trying to read them was pointless. Junpei wasn't going to waste any more time with them. He made it close the file. And something fell out.
Huh? What's this?
He bent down and picked it up.
Oh, a key card.
Mm-hmm. It was a symbol on it that reminded Junpei of the symbols of Saturn and Mercury key cards. This one, however, had a dot in the center of the male symbol.
Uranus. That's the Uranus symbol.
Is it? I don't remember the Uranus symbol to be that symbol, but okay. Junpei looked over to see Ace examining the card. In addition to the Uranus symbol, there were 3 words engraved on the card as well. Bottom Deck Library.
Something's written on the bottom.
That's what it says right here. Bottom Deck Library.
Bottom Deck Library. This must be the key to the library, then.
So it would seem.
Bottom Deck Library.
Mm-hmm. Alice is under the navel or something. In the library under the navel of the gigantic. Junpei remembered something he'd heard from Seven when they had been in the chemical closet.
Seven said something like...
Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the forest of knowledge beneath the navel of the gigantic.
Could beneath the navel mean the bottom deck, and the forest of knowledge is the library? Then could Alice be in a room somewhere beyond the library?
What's wrong? Something on your mind?
Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace looking at him. Curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts.
Yeah. I just remembered something.
Is that so? What about?
Well, don't laugh, okay?
There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. He began to explain his theory to Ace. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. So he told Ace everything June had told him.
The Egyptian priestess and Ice 9. Interesting.
And the woman who wouldn't melt, who was recovered from the Titanic disaster? They called her All Ice, which eventually turned into Alice. And she was purchased by an English millionaire who called himself Lord Gordain. According to Seven, this ship is where he hid Alice.
And you think that he hid her in a small room, beyond the library on the bottom deck?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is just a theory.
Ace stared off into the distance, his hand slowly and absent-mindedly stroking his beard. After a few moments, his hand stopped. He turned slowly to look at Junpei, and his brows drew together.
Junpei, have you ever heard of the term CAS?
Oh god, not another one.
Cass.
Cass.
It stands for Cells Alive System. It is an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic matter. Put simply, it is a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals. Normally, if you freeze something fresh, water within its cells expands as it crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane. CAS, however, works differently. The object to be frozen is supercooled using magnetic fields, and then frozen instantly and uniformly, giving ice crystals no time to form. It was originally developed for the preservation of food, as an alternative to the normal freezing process. Now, however, there are rumors that it can be used for other things.
Like humans, like cryostasis?
What do you mean, other things?
Well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps also space travel.
Space travel? Are you serious?
Surely you've heard of suspended animation. Cryogenic freezing?
Yes.
It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space.
That was when Junpei understood what Ace was suggesting.
Whoa, wait a minute there.
Ace looked at him and raised an
Are
eyebrow.
you saying that Alice was frozen using that Cass thing?
Well, I'm sure the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility. If this special ice you call Ice 9 does indeed exist, and casts were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously.
But like as a mummy in history.
You think she could be alive?
Well, I can't say for sure, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities. The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right? If she were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature...
That's nuts. Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking about?
You're quite right. It does sound unbelievable.
Okay, I really think they're talking about like 96 degrees Fahrenheit and not like Celsius. So I'm gonna look up what that is in Celsius because I can't do that. I can't do the calculations really well. 96 Fahrenheit degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius. 35.5 degrees Celsius then. Okay, well that's still pretty hot for like ice to melt, but that's amazing.
But if
really.
she had, then we would have an explanation for the man we found dead on the floor.
What, you think she did it?
You mean the guy dressed like a captain?
Yes. He was dead when we found him. Clearly, he was murdered. But if he was murdered, then by whom? It couldn't have been one of us. That would be impossible.
Sorry, just a second. Look at Clover's face right here, like.
In order to enter the captain's quarters, one must first open door 1. That door that requires the Earth key prevented us from accessing door 1. Who was it that opened that door?
Santa and Lotus.
Right. Clearly, the two of them could not have opened door 1, or any other door for that matter. Who else then could have done so?
Junpei thought for a second.
Nobody. After Santa and Lotus used the Earth key, they turned back and met up with me and June. Then we returned to the large hospital room and found Ace, 7, and Clover. While we'd gone into the shower room, Ace, 7, and Clover had stayed behind. But it's impossible for those 3 to open door 1. But what about when June and I took the elevator to door 2? No, still won't work. We were only gone 5 minutes. No human being could have run to the captain's quarters, killed that guy in there, and run back that fast.
It would be impossible for any of us to be the murderer. That being the case, who could have killed him? Wouldn't it make sense if his killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time? A person like that would know the ship well. They would know the locations of all the hidden passages and secret doors. The numbered door would mean nothing to someone like that. It would be a simple thing for them to enter the captain's quarters.
Then you're saying the killer was Alice?
I think that's very far-fetched. It was Junpei's turn to raise an eyebrow. Ace drew his thumb across his lips. Sorry, I can't speak. Ace drew his thumb across his lips thoughtfully. Jeez.
Well, this is all only one possible theory.
My brain doesn't work sometimes.
All ice. Is she really somewhere on the ship?
Junpei had only one clue. The key card in his hand.
Maybe this card will give me access to the Forest of Knowledge and the big mystery. What could be there beyond the Forest of Knowledge? Anyway, whatever. It's gonna have to wait. I can't do anything right now. I'll come back to this later.
He gripped the key card tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket. New material has been added to the file screen. Which is those hieroglyphs, I'm sure, that we can't read. A unique key. A key with a letter case. It isn't metal. My guess it would be ceramic. Junpei, have you found a keyhole that might fit it? I mean, not here. I think we're pretty done here. Junpei, what are you doing? We've searched the wheelhouse from top to bottom. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yes, okay. Yes, okay. Good. Yeah, okay, fine. I need to go here. Okay, so we have 0. And we got those numbers. Oh, Jesus. I'm going places that I shouldn't be going. It's the roots, not unless numero. This one. Oh god, here we go. A numerical system on the captain's quarters. 10 in base 10 written as an A in hexadecimal, therefore 11 is B, 12 is C, D, 14 plug, and so on. Okay. Okay, so at least we can jam on this song for a little while. E, F, G, G. I'm writing it down, by the way, so you know that I'm doing something. Z. Okay, so Z is 35, if I'm correct. Z, 14. 14. R is 27. And O is 26. So it's that, I think. Right, wait. Yeah. I think so. Let's try that, because I'm pretty sure this key right here needs to go into this lock right here. The control panel for the electronic lock. It looks like it's got a keyhole on the bottom right. Maybe the key I got earlier. So it does have that. Sweet, I just had to put the key on and now it's on. Junpei, look! There's a minus sign on the screen. There are 8 of them. That probably means we gotta put in 8 digits. Do you think you can figure it out? Sure, we can try. Okay. Yeah, can I click the thing? 8 digit, huh? Once I've put in that 8 digit number, I guess I just press E to enter. And if I mess up, I guess I can just press C. Alright, let's give it a shot. So, I have 35, 14, 27, 26. Is that it? Oh, enter. No? Okay, I guess that's not it. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19... Really? I thought maybe it was like 0, you know? Oh wait, the Q is 26. I didn't see it in the dark. 24. Let's try it again. 35, 14, 27, 24. There we go. It was 0. mistook the Q for now. Yes! Yes, it worked. Good job, Junpei. Excellent. You seem to have unlocked it. Good work, Junpei. Alright, let's go. Okay. Let's go. There's no reason to stay here. I like that I mistook the Q as an O. You found it! Bloong! They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit before turning left, like a great backwards L.
All right, let's go.
Junpei rounded the corner and took off down the straightaway. Okay, I didn't know that was a word, but okay. He ran and he ran and he ran. At the end of the hallway was a door.
That's the next door.
He made straight for it.
Wait, a piece of paper.
He was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the room. Middle of the hallway. Junpei skidded to a halt.
This is...
He dropped down to his hands and knees and quickly tore the paper off the floor.
Map of the ship's interior for ADEC.
What's wrong?
Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age, had finally caught up to Junpei.
I found a map for this floor.
He showed Ace what he had snatched from the wall. I thought it was on the floor. He looked at it long enough to determine what it was and nodded. I mean, it said that he crawled on his knees and hands and knees because it was on the floor. So what? Wall? This game, man.
I see.
With that, he began running again past Junpei.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
Yep.
I
see.
This, though.
Junpei shoved the map into his pockets and got up to follow Ace, but something stopped him.
Hey, where's Clover?
Oh god. He turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen.
Damn it, what the hell is she up to?
Junpei muttered angrily under his breath and took off back the way he'd come. As he stumped around the corner, he saw her. She was standing in front of the door of the captain's quarters, her hand on the doorknob.
Clover!
Huh?
As Junpei watched, she closed it gently and quietly.
What the hell are you doing?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket as if trying to hide something.
What the hell is that?
What?
You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
Oh, this?
The zero
this
bracelet?
is a note.
A note?
A note?
Yeah, I found it in the pocket of the guy with the captain's clothes. It said something about the darkness of the sinister hand or something.
What the hell? Let me see it.
No, not right.
But Junpei wasn't going to get to see it. From the other end of the hall, he heard Ace's voice.
Hey, Junpei, Clover! What are you two doing? Hurry up!
I love that he's so far away. That's so cool.
He's getting mad.
Clover shrugged.
I'll show it to you later, all right? Come on, we gotta hurry.
Fine. Before Junpei could protest, she was gone. Around the corner and off down the long stem of the L. A note. A note. Junpei was curious, but there was something else that bothered
From
him.
the look of that pocket, it doesn't particularly look like just a note.
No, it's the zero
Jeez,
bracelet.
what are you thinking? For crying out loud.
Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later and ran off after Clover. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in the large room with a large set of stairs.
Big stairs. So this is where it ends up, just like it says on the map.
It was just what he had expected to see after reading the map. His "I see" after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing.
Ace, did he head down?
He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down.
Oh, There he is.
Where? I don't see him.
Look, the 4 others are there too.
I don't see them either. I know, it's just art style, I know. And not just Ace, Santa, June, and Seven, and Lotus as well.
Really?
Oh, and not just Ace, Santa, June, and Seven, and Lotus as well.
Let's join them.
Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They raced B-deck at the same time. They reached B-deck at the same time.
Jumpy! Clover!
Yes. Jun's face was excited. She looks kind of determined, not excited. Something had happened. That much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her.
What's up?
Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, didn't contain herself.
We found it!
Found what?
We found it!
What did you find?
The last door! We found door 9!
What?
Come on! Just follow us. We'll explain on the way.
Okay.
Seven turned and jogged off down the stairs.
Well, if that's the case...
Wait for me.
We should get going as well.
The rest followed.
Jumpy! We finally made it!
The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each of them felt.
Yeah, it's finally time.
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd finally done it, at least not yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was.
Reached the end.
He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one. Wow! That was a really good sentence! I didn't even mess up once! Okay, I'm really proud of myself. Little, like, applause right there. Sorry, I need to applaud myself there. That was so smooth. I'm so happy for myself. I finally got through a sentence without being like,
Something's bothering me. Only 3 to 5 people can go through the numbered door.
Yeah.
7 of us are on our way to door 9.
We have
That means that, best case scenario, there will be 2 of us who have to stay behind.
the number 0 bracelet though. Not that that does anything,
2
I guess.
people. Is there a way?
Junpei looked over at the clock.
4:30. We've only got 90 minutes left. I've got no time to wonder about it now.
An hour and a half, you mean?
Hey, Junpei! June! What the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up!
Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie.
Let's go, Jumpy!
June took off down the stairs, jogging as quietly as she could.
Yeah.
Junpei followed. As a group, they piled onto the elevator and rode impatiently down to E-deck. It looked familiar. There was a metal grate between the 2 elevators. Seven grabbed hold of it and began to talk.
I know I told you I'd explain it earlier, but honestly, there ain't much to explain. After we split off from you guys, the 4 of us got into the elevator on the left, and that took us to the other side of the grate. After that, we headed down another hallway. It took us toward the bow and eventually to the number 6 that you 2 found earlier. We opened it and kept going. There was another locked door behind it, like usual, but this time we had to complete 2 different areas before we could unlock it. Once we were through that door, there was another hallway that went the other direction, toward the stern.
So, on your way, you found the elevator.
That's right.
So, in other words, you kinda did a lap, huh? You came from that side to this side.
Yeah.
With that settled, Junpei looked around.
So, where's the number 9 door?
Over here. Follow me.
Seven began walking down the hallway that led towards the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with him.
By the way,
They had been walking for a while. June in silent step with Junpei when she spoke.
you know, it's because of Santa that we're all here right now.
Huh?
That all 7 of us are going to door 9.
What?
You don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus.
which is 7 plus 8, which is 7 plus 8 is 16, plus 3 is 9, 18. Wait, 7 and 8. Wait, the 7 and 8 not make 16? Wait, no, that's 8 plus 8. 15, sorry. That makes 15. 15. So that would make 9
What's
eventually.
their digital root?
Or 18. Wait. Oh, is... Oh, 7 plus... No. Yeah, it was 15 and then plus 3 it makes 18 and 1 plus 8 is 9.
9. It's 9.
Math. Oh, wait. Calculus, not my strong suit.
That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they'd wanted to.
But they didn't.
Yes, because Santa wouldn't let them. He said, we can't leave June and the others behind. That's why we went looking for you guys.
And then you got on the elevator and went back to the central staircase.
That's right.
Well, I wouldn't have called that one. That Santa would be the one to stick up for you. I mean...
Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's concern.
I don't mean that Seven and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just talking about it, and Santa objected to it first.
Is that so?
Junpei was about to respond when Seven suddenly stopped.
We're here.
Oh, thank God the footsteps are gone. In front of them stood a door.
So, is this...
Yeah.
Junpei couldn't see Seven's face, but he could see him nod.
There's no other place for us to go.
Nope. Just look around. There's a big old iron wall at the end of the hallway. The other hallways on the left and right are blocked by metal grates.
I see.
It looked as though Seven was right. The door in front of them was their only option.
All right, let's get moving.
Choice, option, same thing. He pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed.
Oh.
Such a creepy room. And the song doesn't help either. It appeared they'd been telling the truth.
No way.
The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing made of red paint. The door it decorated sat on the back of the wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it.
The 9 door.
It was a large double door with powerful styling. Powerful styling? I'm sorry, I got messed up with the powerful styling thing. I was like, huh? Is that a thing? Something about it was almost majestic, and it made the red paint look especially garish.
We're finally here.
Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. You know that doesn't work. It didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. Good. The red was bolted to the wall next to the door. Its display read vacant.
No doubt about it. This is door 9. Oh, finally! This is the last!
Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back, and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. There was a moment of complete silence.
Junpei, look behind you.
He turned around.
Behind? What?
Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw.
Why? A door and a 9. There's
Another
another
one. Right here. And there's a coffin right here. And a book.
Hey, what the hell? What the hell is going on here?
His words came slowly, and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. It was a small door set parallel to the door they'd come through, but in the other corner of the room. 9. There was no mistaking the number. And if any more proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the door.
There's a red there too. That means...
Look at the shape of this 9. I'm just saying. There's a red in there too, that means...
And of course it won't open.
He grabbed the handle and shook the door, not because he had expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real.
Why? Why the hell are there two doors?
It was Ace who spoke first.
Do you think perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong?
Oh god, here goes my cat again. No. My older cat loves sitting in front of the monitor. Lotus was skeptical.
I don't know about that. It seems unlikely.
What makes you say so?
You really think that's a 9? I feel like it's not. Like, it's a weird 9 to me. Like, looks like a. Doesn't look like a 9, like a number. Does anybody write their 9s this way? Like with that little tail, like that, instead of like a 9, you know? Or like for me, it would be like that. But whatever. Anyway, it seems weird.
Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They're full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve them. I'm pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just had to go with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. Do you really think that at the very end of the game, Zero's going to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck?
Then you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room.
No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. I searched it very well when I was in here before. I didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though.
Well then, that means...
Yeah, both of these are the right door. I mean, if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it.
It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
Yep. Junpei began to mutter to himself.
So if there are two number 9 doors, if we split it up right,
That's not gonna work.
Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her hand.
You've got a notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them?
yeah, here.
Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to Clover.
Look at this.
Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on the desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers.
You get it?
There's always gonna be people left
The
behind.
numbers on the top are all the combinations with digital roots of 9. The numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit. There's only 8 possibilities if we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people. So...
We needed 2. Then that would also make 18. So we need Snake. Then we would also be able to get through the other door.
If 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind.
yeah.
Clover nodded, almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem.
No way.
The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone with like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were blank.
Come to think of it,
Desperate for something else to look at, Junpei turned his eyes to the room around him.
what is this room?
The walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the room. I guess those are these things?
It looks like it's set up for some kind of ceremony.
A chapel or
What
something.
kind?
Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. Ooh, yep. The carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. On the other end of the carpet
Is that an altar?
What is that sound? That's like a Venus, but also Mercury with a sun symbol? Weird. It was a recessed space into the wall between two other doors. Sitting on the raised section of the altar was a coffin. A coffin? A coffin. A coffin. A coffin.
Coffin? No,
He thinks it's
possibly
Alice.
be.
But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. He decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. At that moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced.
Okay, I give up. I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer. But I guess nobody's got the guts to do it.
What are you talking about?
Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only
What?
one.
You guys didn't figure it out yet?
Wh-
Fine, let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong, she just... screw it! Let me just write it out.
Seven snatched the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look.
If you're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out, Clover's right.
Oh, so this one is like a single digit, and this is a double digit, and then the only one who is left out is 7.
But there's another way. Only one combination, though. If you split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1, you can make this combination.
Wait, this means...
Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing.
The same thing? Are you saying?
Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind.
Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden?
Santa, where are you?
Are you some kind of
Did,
idiot?
did he say something like, huh? Because I didn't see his face. Lotus was the first to speak. That in itself was a little strange. She'd reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered.
No, I'm completely against this. I'll be goddamned if I'm gonna have to owe you for getting out of here.
That's why. She doesn't want to owe him anything. The rest of them began to speak all at once.
I'm against it too. I didn't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either.
I don't like that idea. There's gotta be other options.
I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero.
Some of them actually care, and others don't want to be him to be the hero. Or want to owe them something, or owe him something. Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at Seven.
Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's gotta be a better way than this.
Seven made some noise that was somewhere between just the derisive snort and a cough.
Doesn't make any sense.
He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corners of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke.
Whoa, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet.
There he is! I told you, like, he hasn't said anything. Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable.
Are you agreeing? You want to leave him here?
Santa shook his head.
Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone.
Then I don't see how it matters.
I said alone.
Huh?
He
I
wants to
said
leave
I
more.
don't want to leave Seven alone.
There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver.
What the hell are you...
What? You don't get it? I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including Seven. I'll be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal. No, those are my orders.
What do you mean, orders? What the hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the hell's gonna listen to you?
You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice.
What?
3, 2, 1.
Santa was so fast Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance. His feet moving like lightning. He spun and... Uh-oh. He had June.
See? I told you.
God, I love his face in this one. He's so evil. One of my favorites, like, is just him being like, I got a gun now. Her face is ridiculous, though, I'm just saying. His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile.
Huh? What?
A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze, and he could feel his breath go still in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa had grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple. That went pretty well, too.
What the hell is that?
Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Junpei's questions roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion.
The gun's from the other room.
What room?
One of the rooms behind door 6. I should have known he was gonna do this. I should have taken the gun.
Well, it's too late now, fat ass.
Oh, come on. You already have a revolver against June's head. You don't need to call people fat ass now. A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face. I always want to say Shevin for some reason. Seven's face, and he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't so much as flinch. The corner of his lip twitched into a slightly wider smile. Then the smile faded as he began to move. He walked backwards, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on the scanner panel quickly, and then forced June to do the same.
Now, time for you to start following my orders.
Again, how though? He keeps one revolver to her head, and the other... I mean, I guess she would still be scared to be shot, but...
Ace, Lotus, congratulations! I've chosen you to come with me.
Even if he removed his, left arm, she would still have to be still.
Put your hands in the red.
3 + 6 + 1 + 8 is 18. That's what Santa had meant when he said he needed 2 more.
Hey, you deaf? I gave you an order.
Is even hotter, sorry. Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed frozen. They stayed frozen like a deer caught in headlights of an oncoming car.
Right. Fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it.
No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched. The gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wooden splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out of the hole into the floor. In the floor, sorry. There could be no doubt that the gun was real and worked.
He really shot it? But why?
Oops, sorry. Santa, why are you... Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief.
Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends.
What?
You knew about the leaf words and the 4-leaf clover.
Santa's cheek twitched, almost imperceptibly.
What the hell is that shit? I've got no idea.
You're lying.
Shut up. Just shut up, you stupid bitch. You want me to put a bullet in your fucking head?
Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, and his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small.
Santa.
He snorted, then shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus.
All right, assholes. What are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. Oh, what's the matter? Your hearing's starting to go? Going senile, maybe?
I mean, they are the oldest, I guess. Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild, and her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate.
That's it.
June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she would have to leave the ship alive. Or she would leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do.
It's the only way.
He turned to Ace and Lotus.
Please, go.
Huh?
No way.
Jumpy, what are you saying? If you stay here, you're going to be stuck, Jumpy. And so will Clover and Seven.
I know, but you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Right, Seven?
Right. You just leave it to us. It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but...
Don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of.
No, you can't! Ace, Lotus, don't come over! Don't worry about me, please!
June was almost crying. Junpei, what? I am very sorry. Those were my cats, if you heard them. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. He gently placed a hand on each of their shoulders.
Please.
And pushed them towards the door. They almost stumbled, then righted themselves and took another step, and another. They turned around, and Junpei nodded.
Go.
all right.
Fine.
Ace and Lotus turned around again, and walked slowly towards the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door that marked a 9. Santa smiled.
All right, now let's get those hands on the scanner panel. What's the holdup? What? You think I'm fucking around here? I don't give a shit about this girl. The red doesn't need a person, you know?
There you go. The red doesn't need a person, just a bracelet.
All I need is the bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands on the scanner.
Again, Ravioli. You're annoying. You're annoying, and even in this game.
I'm not gonna say it again.
He shoved the revolver harder against June's head, and she winced.
Fine.
Ace sighed, defeated, and placed his hands on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Senna and slammed her hand onto the scanner panel in defiance. Sorry, I had to add defiance after that because I feel like that suits Lotus. The fourth asterisk blinked on.
Good job. Now, Lotus, pull that lever. As soon as the door opens, you get your ass in there. Try anything stupid, and you know what happens, right?
Damn it.
Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble, a drum roll to welcome the chosen few.
Good. Go.
Lotus and Ace walked through the door, their eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well. 7, 6, 7,
Later.
8. After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air that it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. Well, now we're stuck here. The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and Seven had been left behind. Clover looked down at her hand and traced it with her finger traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. Seven shoved his arms into the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the 2 9 doors. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. It read engaged. He moved to the smaller door. The red read vacant. The red read vacant. English, everyone. The red read vacant. The digital root of the remaining people is 7. 5 plus 4 plus 7 is 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. There was no possible way for them to open the door with the 9 on it. Junpei touched the surface of the door.
June.
He thought about June, about Akane Kurashiki. Was she safe? That was all that mattered to him. If she was alive, if she had escaped his horrible boat, that was what Junpei prayed for. I mean, she just left, so I don't think she's out of the boat yet. 7 came up next to him. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and sighed.
So, what do you want to do, Junpei?
What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do?
7 opened his mouth to respond when... Oh, God. Yep. A noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. It wasn't mechanical, it was certainly human. Junpei and 7 looked at one another.
What the hell is that?
Shh, quiet!
Clover mentioned to 7 to be quiet. She put one finger over to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. God. The 3 of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from.
Where's it coming from? Could it be?
Yep.
Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin.
You're right!
Let's open it.
But how?
What are those muscles for? For show?
You're telling me to force it open?
Just shut up and try!
Junpei and 7 grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip of what little purchase they could find and pulled it with all their strength.
Damn it!
It won't even budge.
There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Suppose its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it.
Another one?
Yeah, looks like it.
Do you think we have to put in the right password or it won't open?
I think so.
The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder.
Whoever or whatever's inside this thing wants out. And now.
I know that. But how?
Without a passcode, I don't think there's much we can do.
They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be.
Isn't there a hint somewhere?
Well, let's look for one.
Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews, and 7 investigated a desk, but they turned up nothing.
Ugh, there's nothing here.
Not making this easy, are they?
The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room.
What's the passcode? What am I supposed to do? How can we figure it out? I need something.
Here we go. Oh, it's so creepy. Yup, that's the first ending. That's the ending I got the first time I played this game. It was so creepy. That is what we call the coffin ending. You have reached one ending. The game has multiple endings. In order to experience all the endings, you need to play through the game multiple times. Make sure to save your progress now to retain all information you've acquired. Memory of Escape has been added to the title screen. Memory of Escape enables you to replay the escape rooms you have completed. Would you like to save the info you've obtained to this playthrough after saving? Okay. Yes, I would. There we go. Okay guys, I think we're gonna leave it here. I've been recording for a while now. It's a very long episode, but I felt like I couldn't really chop off the ending there because that would be really weird. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to starting a new run through. We will definitely like skip dialogue and skip rooms and everything because we can. But we're gonna do some of the rooms that we haven't done, so we can get rid of that. But we'll talk about that in the next episode. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!